go into this as we go and introduce our players into game number 1 of this best of 3. To the bottom right hand side of the map is going to be our blue Protoss player from Millennium. Of course, Millennium, big French team, no surprise that the French qualifiers are dominated by Millennium players. To the bottom right hand side it is going to be Lilbow, our blue Protoss player here, entering this PvZ on Frozen Temple for map number 1 of the winner bracket semi-final. To the upper left is going to be our red Zerg player from Euronics Gaming. Let's hear it if you're cheering on FireCake. Shout out to all you guys hitting that follow button there at the during the break. Appreciate it, guys. Again, we are live here pretty much every single day on the channel. Whenever we have stuff to cast, I am currently a full-time streamer for StarCraft 2, an event organizer as well, running the SC to Improve Team League and some UK events. So please do hit that follow button if you want to keep up to date with consistent, high-quality StarCraft content. There's a probe going to be coming in, and Lilbow just having a look around to see what's happening in the very early stages of this game. It's a very small map, and so Protoss players do tend to scout after the pylon just to see what's happening, just to make sure it's not going to be a 12 pool, which could hit so early in this game. Spawning pool comes into the right-hand side for FireCake, as it is just hatch pool, gas, and then looking to be a very fast third hatchery as well from him. So that's going to come down now, and get set up and ready to go. Wait, Petit Drogo didn't even try to enter this qualifier, asked Corwin. Well, actually, Petit Drogo is already qualified for the Spring Championship, so he doesn't need to enter this qualifier. He's qualified through the top 8 on WCS points. Pilly knows his stuff. He whacks out that piece of information well before I can tell you with the 3-minute delay we have on the stream here today. Probe going to be coming over back home from Lilbow, as he has had a very good scout of what's going on, even seen the third base, so he knows exactly what's happening in the very early stages of this. As we're going to see the Cyber X core starting up and finishing up here for Lilbow. We're going to see a gateway being added on as well. And Cyber Core just starting up that warp gate, and Stalker on the way up as well, as Lilbow's expansion is very soon to be finishing here. Should be Lilbow who kind of dictates the early stages of this game in terms of what sort of build he's going to go for. It's going to be Twilight Council, and what we have seen a lot of on this map actually has been kind of a combination of Adepts and Phoenix. So you go into Resonate Glaives early, harass with some Adepts, and then move into the Phoenix. And then you go for kind of a big Phoenix Adept timing. It's been very popular on this map, actually. More popular on this map than I've seen it on other maps. I saw a lot of people doing it yesterday in the kind of Millennium versus Team Liquid match. We saw Showtime use it against Snoot, and I believe Lilbow tried to use it against Vortex as well. No, actually, Lilbow used it in the... Lilbow was in game number 7 of that match. He didn't use it. I'm sure we saw it twice yesterday, though. Maybe we casted something else at some point. We saw it on this map. As we're going to be going into this early stages of this game. Resonating Glaives is on the way up, and for now, FireCake just going to be going to look to prepare against early Adepts. He's not on a great work account just yet, but it's better that he commits units now, and then kind of shuts down those Adepts, rather than letting the Adepts come in, do a bunch of damage, and then making units after he's already lost workers. So FireCake just going to make a few Zerglings. He's got Zergling speed on the way up, and also a Baneling Nest. Obviously very aware that this is a build which players like to go for here on Frozen Temple. And these Banelings and Lings, I mean, in a way he may be trying to just Baneling bust here. In another way, maybe he is just really getting prepared for this incoming Adept pressure. As you're getting set up and ready to go. As Adept's going to be coming over to the left. There's a lot more Lings on the way. This could just be FireCake looking for a big Baneling burst very early on in the game. How will that work against, 2 extra gates still coming up? It's 4 gates in total from Lilbow. He doesn't have that that Adept attack speed yet. That Resonating Glaives yet to finish as he shades through to the middle of the map. Does he get far enough for us to see the Banelings morphing in? He does. And he actually commits here. That's going to be a dead Adept, but he sees just how many Zerglings there are. He sees the Banelings morphing in as well. Wow, when was the last time you saw a Baneling burst in ZVP? Quite a while ago, and this scout from Lilbow is huge because he can set up the secondary wall. And now I don't even know if it's worth FireCake attacking in here. Maybe just time to go back and try and drone up once again. These Baneling as well, they're going to go through. They're going to hit a couple of these pylons and they will kill off. Oh, perfect force field from Lilbow. As now the Adept's going to keep working their way against these Zerglings. Or against the Banelings even. An overcharge will come down as well to help protect. And this is not working out for FireCake at all. We do see though, then pylons do go down. Which empowers the gateways at the front. At least one of them empowers the Cyber Core. Last Baneling sort of coming in, not really doing a lot. 26 more Lings being made. Lilbow's just got more than enough to hold off against this. He's got so many so many sentries still over here and ready to defend. Let's see a couple more pylons being set up, just helping set up the wall. A couple more gates coming in as well. I mean, I believe the kind of counter-attack here from Lilbow with a whole bunch of adepts should be able to just kind of finish off in this game. Should be able to kill off FireCake after he's committed to so many units without being super successful. As you're going to see, Force Field comes down, just blocking them. Bane's okay, they can kill a couple of pylons, but still not really going to, grant access to this base. Maybe needs a Force Field, though. These Zerglings going to start finding their way in. All these adepts and these sentries going to be enough. Maybe not Force Field available there for Lilbow, and that's why we see a lot of these units going down. Okay, I mean, that was kind of successful there for FireCake, but at the same time, he still doesn't get the worker damage he's done. He cleans out a few units, but Lilbow up on 5 gateways now, and 5 gateways because he's been losing a few as well. He's up on 5 gateways and just, pure adept warpins should be able to clean up further link pressure. As, I mean, FireCake still has not saturated this third base at all. He is still just making Ling Bane and hoping that he can make something work. He busts down these pylons once again. Just doesn't have enough to keep on attacking through. And I mean, Lilbow is very happy to trade 200 minerals of pylons for however much this is being spent on gas for the Banelands. So he's happy to trade pylons, especially when he's ahead on workers like he is. He has on double Stargate now, begin to even transition away, confident to start attacking, despite his kind of continued pressure from FireCake. He goes into pneumatized carapace, maybe just looking to start dropping now as a way to try and get back into this, as he also begins to drone up ever so slightly as well. Still 10 workers behind, however, and actually makes 10 more Zerglings nonetheless here. I mean, what can you do? Big, Zergling drop into the main. These adepts, man, and the number of adepts are really going to be scary, even against just so many Lings. When there's this many adepts, if they're all clumped up, they can just, really minimize the surface area on them, and they can get so much damage done. As we're going to see these adepts do shit forwards here, and we're going to see them coming in and fighting against a whole bunch of these Zerglings. The Zerglings are going to get pushed away. These adepts continue to move forwards, and Lilbow, well, I guess the one threat is the Banelands, and if he stays clumped up, then Banelands will do a lot of damage, and that's one of the kind of benefits here. The idea being that if you can, force the adepts to kind of split, then the Zerglings will be more effective. As there is an Overlord here, and it has got Banelands in it, looking to make Baneland Bomb on towards these adepts, but I mean, Lilbow's just getting so much damage done now. 14 workers ahead, working away on this third hatch. We actually see a Phoenix coming in to start hunting down the Overlords. He's going to force the Banelands to drop out. I mean, the adepts, they're split up, and so the Banelands don't do very much at all. We will see them helping to clean out these adepts, but still, I mean, Lilbow's trading so well here. He's actually just going to shade even more adepts through the center of the map. A couple more Phoenix on the map as well. As we're going to see him just hunting down another Overlord and continue to get damage done. As we're going to see him cleaning up another Overlord down to the south side. FireCake is just going to continue with the aggression. He's just going to try and break this once again, but so many Phoenix now, they can just come in and lift up every single one of these Banelands if he wants to. And he's just going to not let a single one of these realistically hit the front door. He's going to lift them up after they morph in to make sure they don't get cancelled. And, just going to kind of come in and just make sure he kind of gets the most damage done. And so many of these Banelands, not a single one is going to connect, right? Adepts coming in as well. Nope, not a single Baneland connects. Adepts will clean out the Zerglings. Again, Lilbow in a fantastic position here for game number 1 as he cleans up the rest of FireCake's army. It's one of them games where we are just going to end up seeing the GG. And Lilbow takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Now, Lilbow did go 6-1 against FireCake at the recent Gamers Assembly. That was just last weekend, so should be going into this feeling very confident. And well, based on that first game, obviously FireCake is the one who feels as though he's got to go for some weird, wacky strategies that we maybe don't usually see. So, Lilbow holds on very well though in game 1. Great scouting. That one adept seeing this coming in meant so much for him. It meant he could set up the extra gateways. It meant he could really set up to defend against that. It was a really important part of that for him. And as we'll see, Ruins of Endian for map number 2 here in just a few moments' time. So, be jumping into this next game in just a few moments. As we're going to be going into Lilbow and FireCake. Game 2. Again, the winner of this does play against Marine Lord in that winner's bracket finals. And we'll be seeing how that goes in the near future as well. Again, guys, if you're enjoying the stream and want to help support me as a full-time streamer and continue to bring you guys these casts and content throughout the day, pretty much every single day, we have something on the way. If you do want to continue to support me, or begin to support me, there's a few different ways you can do it. I have a Patreon page at patreon.com/Wardy, which allows you to support on a regular basis, however much you can afford. So you can check that out, patreon.com/Wardy. Obviously, as well, there's the standard Twitch subscription as well, which is also a monthly subscription and support as well. And there's also direct donations you can use too. There's a whole different bunch of benefits you get from subscribing and being a patron. There's replay packs available. The March replay pack is actually about to go out here in the next day or two. I've just been very busy the last couple of days, so maybe tomorrow I'll get... tomorrow I'll definitely get onto that, because I've got that listed on my list of things to do. So when I get some free time tomorrow, that'll be one of the first things I do. So March replay pack will be going out tomorrow with a lot of the games which we're casting here on the stream. So great resource to kind of get some replays of high-level players. And yeah. We'll be going into that this next game here very shortly. And of course, yeah, direct donations as well. Yeah, other ways you can... I talked about how you can support. Benefits also include, you kind of get them emotes as well if you subscribe. You get discounts on co-chain. There's a whole set of different rewards based on how much you support over on Patreon. You also get kind of priority on viewer and sub games as well. Ruins of Endian map number 2, as we're going to go back into some StarCraft action. Of course, if you can't afford to support monetarily, hit the follow button, check out the stream again in the future, tune into our content, spread the word. All of that helps a lot in terms of growing the stream, and it actually goes a long way to help support the stream as well when you guys spread the word about the content and whatever else as we go into this. Game number 2, as we have to the bottom left hand side of the map, our blue pros player from Millennium. It is Lilbow. Up a game now in this best of 3, looking for a rematch of the Top Dogs finals against Marine Lord in the next few minutes. To the bottom right, it's going to be our red Zerg player representing Euronics Gaming. It is FireCake, who just seems to have a bit of a mental block against Lilbow. 6-1 over the weekend at Gamers Assembly, now 1-0 here. Did they play? Who actually played against it? I've forgotten what the bracket looked like for Top Dogs. It might have been Lilbow FireCake there as well. I think it was... maybe it was. Let me get onto that and just try and check that out. Because it would be interesting if that was the case. Top Dogs results or something. I know Marine Lord actually... no, I know Lilbow, I think, won that with the reverse all kill. But I'm not sure how he actually went down. Let me search that, guys. And again, all this information very useful for... kind of, again, just getting a bit more information, a bit more of a storyline amongst the French players here, as we see on Ruins of Endian. It is going to be a pull first into a hatchery. Okay, so Lilbow actually played against DNS in the semi-finals. FireCake went up against Marine Lord after defeating Daishi. But that's actually interesting information too, because, FireCake defeating Daishi, that does mean that if they do meet in the lower bracket, Daishi's going to have to find a new way to try and come up and try and defeat FireCake here if he wants to move through the losers bracket and see what he can get up to. So again, we'll keep them results in mind as we continue to talk about these players and the matchups. As Lilbow and FireCake here. Game number 2 as a fast third hatch coming in for FireCake as well, just after the opening here. Single Zealot is going to be just moving onto the ramp here. As we see, a third hatchery is again on the way up. We've got the couple of lings working against these rocks. This map, one of the maps where we've actually seen a lot in ZVP, players just killing off these rocks and using that as a defense to just go straight up to 70 workers, straight up to 70 drones, and from there, just basically, going into whatever you want to go into. As in-depth is going to come forward here. The other Zergling did pull away. Actually going to work on the rocks from this side. As that first Zergling is going to get shut down. And that one Zergling, well, he's got a lot of hits to go. He's got, what, like 60 hits or so left on this rock. And he's slowly working his way against it. Just hidden in the back here as the Adept. And he's going to be shading around. Actually in towards the main basement of the line. Good spore crawler placement here by FireCake. Just saved that first and second Adept as the projectile comes in to hit it. Does just manage to get those down and save both of those drones. As we'll see this Adept just moving forwards, or moving back I should say. And well, 15 hits left. The Zergling's been doing a good job, and it goes down to 10 hits remaining. This Adept though, is he going to stop it from happening? The Zergling has one dream, that's to kill these rocks here. And just as the Zergling dies, you see the Zergling's dream come true. The rocks go down. Everything he's worked for in his life has been for, he's been successful. It's always good to hear a success story. And that's exactly what it was for that Zergling. He dies, but I mean, hey, he took down the rocks, which was his one mission. He was a major part of the rock dropping of Ruins of Endian in Game 2 of the semi-final. Phoenix are out, single Stargate this time from Lilbow, a bit of a different build, no Twilight Council early on, probably because of the fact that with the rocks, it's very difficult to move those Adepts across. With Twilight Council based builds and, the way that, Lilbow was playing last time, you don't generally go into the Robo too early on for the Warp Prism. You generally just kind of shade 8 or so Adepts across, which you've just been building out of your Warp Gates at home, and then start building up into everything else while you take a third base. In this case, if you try and do that, the rocks will just block you, and so it's not going to happen. So Lilbow just going to go into Phoenix so you can harass around the map and have some map control despite the rocks. But we'll just be going up into fast third and avoiding the Adepts here early on. Robo does now come down, as we'll probably see Phoenix and actually double Robo. So double Immortal production going to be starting up shortly, as the main goal here for Lilbow is probably to head into Phoenix, Immortal, Archon, and Charge a lot. That's going to be his kind of end goal composition. It's a composition that's very good against anything we see out of the Zerg, which is going to be based off of a Hydra Den, whether it's going to be Muscular Augments or a Lurk Den. Either or, whatever we see here is going to be sort of countered to some extent by this, composition of Lilbow. Now, the one thing Lilbow is going to make sure of by these Phoenix as well as just harassing and keeping map control, is going to really limit the opportunity for FireCake to go into a Spire follow-up, a Spire transition, and a Mutalist transition here at some point of the game. As these Phoenix continue to fly around, continue to have a look to see what exactly they can get up to, and just look to get a little bit further damage done, being pushed away now by that Spore Crawler once again. As the first few Hydras are on the way for FireCake also. These first few Hydras, they have to stick together. It's very important for him to keep these Hydras together and not allow them to be picked away at by these Phoenix. It's not a super dangerous number of Phoenix, it's only 5. This isn't kind of double Stargate plus 1 air weapons Phoenix play. But he still has to be careful. I mean, 1 or 2 Phoenix at a time can be picked away at here, as exactly like this. One Hydra goes down, and the second Hydra in a little bit of trouble too, as then Phoenix do just end up pulling away though. So Phoenix pull away, as the creeper spread continue to push out in towards the center of the map. Twilight Council coming down, Robo Facility coming down, and Immortal production starting, and +1 as well. Everything being set up here by Lilbow as expected. That charge will be coming in shortly, and the Temple Archives as well to start making High Templar to morph into Archons. As there's them Hydras, means Phoenix just going to have to find a way to sneak out of this main and natural, and they're going to find it up the right hand side here. Has to fly through a Spore Crawler, but I mean the Phoenix, they do have shields which will regenerate here. So it's not, that's not too much of an issue, as Hydra's trying to catch one of them Phoenix, but unsuccessful. As we see an Infestation Pit coming down. Eventually, it has been a Muscular Augments opening by FireCake. He's not gone into that fast Lurker Den. And it looks as though with the Infestation Pit, he wants to take up towards Hive very quickly, and not really waste any time at all on Lurkers or anything like that just yet. With this Hive tech, what we're probably looking to see is probably some Broodlords coming in. He's already got the Spire started, so he can go straight into the Great Spire. And again, he's probably just hoping that these rocks will give him the extra little bit of time he needs to really defend against, any type of aggressive timing, any kind of pre-Broodlord timing, which Lilbow might want to go for. So a couple more Overlords going to be found here. Still not losing a Phoenix at all, and just one Adept loss throughout the game, as these Phoenix have picked up 1,600 resources worth of damage. Very effective harassment throughout the game so far by Lilbow. He's been able to do, again, a lot of damage here throughout, and we're going to see Immortals just joining up together. As we're going to see a couple of Zealots being warped in as well. Another Immortal coming in for Lilbow joining up here. As these Phoenix continue to just control the skies, look around, and again, pick away at anything they see the opportunity to kill. A stray Overlord, an odd Hydrus which is left out of the main group. We are seeing the Lurker Den come down. I mean, Lurkers will help to solidify the position in this game for our Zerg player. It'll help him to hold a ground position, it'll help him to hold his bases early on as he goes into the Broodlords, and combined, the Lurkers and the Broodlords are going to be very difficult to break, and you might have to see Lilbow just moving away from his sort of Charge Out Immortal Archon composition, and maybe focusing more on a late game setup for himself, which will involve Stargates, Fleet Beacon, And a combination of Tempest and maybe even Carriers is something which we sometimes do see in late game PvZ. So that's probably what we're going to be heading into for Lilbow. And he has to start getting into that position soon because Broodlords are very, very effective, especially on this map if there's nothing to really deal with them from a distance. Because with the way that Lilbow is taking his 4th base, Broodlords can kind of come into this dead area here above this kind of blunted pylon. Pylon being used to kind of colour in a lot of... I don't know what they've been colouring in, but it's been colouring in a lot and it's very blunt now. And, I mean, yeah, basically, kind of come in this sort of area here. He can kind of lay siege to this Nexus from a distance. And if you just, lay siege to that Nexus, then that's going to be very difficult for the Lilbow to hold. However, lots of Immortals, and this is the sort of time he's looking to hit before these Broodlords kick in. FireCake is going to lose his 4th base. However, if he holds on to his 3rd base and natural here, it might not be so bad for him, because again, the counter-attack on the kind of position with the Broodlords, the position these Broodlords will get him, is going to be very good. So while his economy not looking great, while his base camp not looking great, it's very possible that these Broodlords just put him in a great position in terms of army, and that's something you can really work with. I mean, the only anti-air we see here from Lilbow is 4 Archons, so there's nothing to fight against 6 Broodlords, 7 Broodlords on the way up. Obviously, there's some Phoenix, and that's where them Hydras are going to become very important as well, as them Broodlords going to finish, and Lilbow has to be very careful. He does have a recall available if things get a little bit scary here. Because these Roaches and Hydras starting to engage into this. Time Wolf drops just to stop the Hydras advancing forwards, just to make sure you can recall out of this. Already an Archon going down, though these Hydras are going to make their way down this. Down here, as we're going to see a couple of Archons actually left behind. And Immortal 2, FireCake going to retake his 4th base with this. And this push through the bottom side of the map will begin, as Lilbow just not expecting Broodlords this early in the game. 2 Stargates start up, a Fleet Beacon begins as well. It's going to be a while before the Tempests are really set up and ready to go. As we're going to see Lilbow, he needs to find a way to fight this. I'm not sure how he does, though, as we're going to see, well, the Phoenix is going to attack in towards these Broodlords and eventually will take them down. A few Storms as well. Broodlords coming back, the Hydra count is taking some damage, and actually then Broodlords are also falling because there's nothing really to kind of take down the Phoenix. If them Hydras can target fire down the Phoenix, well, the Broodlords would be able to stay safe and maybe do a lot in this game. He starts to target fire them down now, but maybe a little late. Only 2 Broodlords are remaining. And this has actually gone a lot better for Lilbow than I thought it was, as now he's actually going to take down the last Broodlord. Those Phoenix, I really didn't expect them to be able to take down these Broodlords here. I really think FireCake needed to focus fire those Phoenix, get rid of those, get them out of the skies, and really allow himself to just kind of, with the Phoenix gone, once those Phoenix don't exist anymore, he is going to be able to really just kill off everything else and keep pushing forward with the Broodlords. But now he kind of takes a lot of damage. His 4th base is cancelled once again, and he finds himself with only Hydras here, which dies so quickly. These Archons will do magic against these Phoenix, lift them into the skies also, and FireCake's supply is dropping. Things were looking very hopeful for him here a couple of minutes ago, but now Lilbow has found himself the engagement he needs. He's cleaned out that Broodlord count, and FireCake just finds himself retreating back, pulling back here to defend, as Lilbow just continues to max on up, adds another wave of Zealot here perhaps, and boom, all of a sudden he's going to be charging on into these Hydras, no problem at all. Pure Hydra is very easy to deal with, really, from, Lilbow's perspective. He's got a good enough army to deal with this, as, well, Wolperson goes down, that's going to stop reinforcements. Phoenix coming in, lifting up a few units, drones are coming in and actually trying to help out in this fight, as FireCake knows he needs to do something, as this is probably just going to be GG right here. There's half the supply of his opponent. Lilbow will be moved in.